December 7th, 2020. This is the first Monday of the month of December uh, of a wonderful year. In spite of everything, we are still thankful. Well, I'd like to say a wonderful good evening to all my subscribers, those of you who are watching the Robert DuVernay Show live. Again, if it's Monday, if it's 8 p.m., then it's the Robert DuVernay Show. Well, this evening I'd like to thank each and one of you for logging in. If you have not called a friend, this is the right time to call a friend, a family member. Let them know that the Robert DuVernay Show is on. This evening we have a few items I would like to go over with you. So there's a lot in the news. We'll do our very best to cover the majority of them, but I don't want to bombard you because I want you to come back here next Monday and to watch the Robert DuVernay Show. This evening, we'd like to talk to you is first off is the stimulus. I'm sure a lot of you heard about the stimulus. This is the second round of stimulus. And as you know, that we're still fighting COVID and the economy is yet to fully recover. The U.S. Congress, along with the U.S. Senate, felt the importance of passing a new set of stimulus, which will somewhat give a boost to the economy. And as a result of that, we have some setback. I have some news for you that you may not find to be quite interesting. I'm sure most of you were waiting for a $1,200 check, but I'm sorry. Unfortunately, you would not get the $1,200 check this time. For the simple fact that U.S. Congress, the bipartisan bill that we have in both House and the Senate, would not allow $1,200 check to go to the individuals. Uh, you should not be discouraged. I'm sure you made good use of that $1,200 check that the last time you had it. The bill that we're looking at on the table right now is set at $908 billion. It's a lot of money. Um, Most of that money will be going to our businesses, also the states, and just so they can create programs whereas people can go back to work and hopefully boost up the economy. So as far as the stimulus, this is what I have for you. But then again, it has not passed yet. So as you know, everything in the U.S. Congress normally take an act of God at the last minute for these guys to come together. But then again, there's promise, there's continuing progress on the part of both chambers, both the House and the Senate, and also on the part of the two parties, the Republican and the Democrat. They seem to create some type of a relationship, whereas they want to move forward. Just before we go on the next one, I'd like to say kudos. I'd like to say good evening to Miss Ermi Pierre, who's she just sent out a lot of messages. I'm waiting for it so bad. Well, Miss Ermid Pierre, I hope you're not disappointed. You would not be getting a $1,200 check this time. The government felt like, hey, we gave you one the last time. I'm sure you probably, or someone of your caliber, would not spend all your money in one store. Most likely, you probably saved it inside a bank account, and you can always get back to it and make good use of it. So you would not be getting a $1,200 check this time around. But you never know. You know what they say, you just have to be hopeful. I'd like to say good evening to Mr. Christopher Bonham, who's watching us live from the great state of New York. Chris, thank you for logging in. Good to have you, my brother. Regards to the family. And stay tuned. Well, the next phase of the news for you this evening is, of course, DACA. DACA, which is Deferred Action for Childhood Arrival. Again, as you know, the DACA was first implemented by the Obama administration back in 2012. President Obama, who has a big heart when it comes to young people, he he, he looked within himself and knowing that these young kids who get to the United States through the help of their parents, and they know nowhere else but the United States, and they were here illegally. They did not have a way to go to school because after these kids go to school, the beauty about America, little parentheses here, you could go to school from kindergarten to high school without paying a dime. But what happened after a kid graduate from high school? Um, Hey, some of them may not have to go to college. Some of them may want to go to a trade school. And then at that time, that's when we start seeing hiccups. And then whereas uh, these kids, they needed some kind of scholarship, they needed some kind of financial aid to further their education. However, due to DACA, I mean, due to their immigration status back in 2010, 11, 12, they didn't have much hope to further their studies. So the government, particularly the Obama administration, felt the need to create a program where these young men and young women could be benefited from, whereas he implemented the DACA, which is a deferred action for childhood arrival. And to be honest with you, these are great kids, great young people who some of them graduate summa cum laude, some of they graduated top of the class, valedictorian. I mean, these are kids after high school, they went back into the business and they joined the military. They are contributors. So the Obama administration, the government, they have those data. They have, to me, it's very hypocritical on the part of the government. We're not singled out any particular administration, but then again, if you look at these kids, you have the record. I mean, they're not all perfect students. They're not all perfect kids, but the majority of these kids are really good, decent individuals. And I believe if you create a fair playing field, you would see their best potential. That's exactly what happened. So on the current administration has attempted on numerous occasions to rescind DACA. Fortunately, as of last week, a Court of Appeal in New York has overthrown the decision. So it is law as of today, December 7th. The Court of Appeal of New York authorized the Department of Homeland Security to reinstate all data applicants. Those of you who are watching us live here from the Robert DuVernay Show, if you have not applied for your DACA, which is deferred action for childhood arrival, you have a unique opportunity right now to go ahead and put in your application. If you were here before 2007 and you can show proof that you were here, the best thing I can tell you, go back to your high school or wherever you may have been. Just show that you were here before 2007, and then you were at least 16 or less than 16, so you could apply. It's not too late. This is the time to put in. Go ahead and put in your application. Go ahead and do it. Again, should I say it any louder? Please go ahead and submit your DACA, deferred action, a deferred action for childhood arrival. They are now accepting application as of December 7th, 2020. All right. If you have any questions when it comes to DACA, please do not hesitate to send me a message, instant message me, or either after the show or during the show. I'll be more than happy to give you further information when it comes to that. I love young people. I think young people are the future of this great nation of ours. All right, let's moving right along. All right. Well, my fellow, can you tell me what today is? Just say it. I can hear you. All right, December 7th. So, which means next Monday, by the time we meet next Monday, it will be December 14th. Now, I'm going to meet with you, God's willing, after something would happen. And what that is, it's a rhetorical question. The certification of this year presidential election. Well, next week, December 14th, this is the deadline for all the states to certify the presidential election. As you know, there's a attempt on the part of some attorneys, and the certification of President Biden winning the election will be next Monday. So stay tuned. I mean, those of you who are passionate as much as I am when it comes to the certification of this election that we have, it will be a great thing to stay tuned and watch it. So most of the states, particularly, have already certified their result, and we still have some states who still lag behind, but they have until December 14th, whereas they will turn that over to their governors, and then ultimately certify the election. Okay, very good. Well, I just have a wonderful. Hey, look who's here, ladies and gentlemen. The Dr. Azor from the great state of Georgia, who's having a election for the Senate here. I'm sure she's probably fired up, and then she just sent us a wonderful question. Well, Dr. Azor, well, when it comes to DACA and TPS are two different type of provision. These provision did not. They were not approved by Congress. However, they were done by executive order. Executive order, which means that only the President of the United States has the authority to grant some type of relief to a particular group of people who may, and in the case of DACA, which is for deferred action for childhood arrival, those students, those children who came here at an early age with their parents, and who never get their status adjusted. So the government, the Obama administration, through executive order, has gone and authorized this. Then again, it's a temporary thing. It's not permanent. Eventually, you would hope that Congress will take over this temporary provision and turn it into legislation, whereas they can get the green card. When it comes to TPS, on the other hand, which is temporary protected status, again, like we said, those are executive orders that the U.S. president has the right to has within his power to issue temporary gap to correct some issue. Normally, we have temporary protected status for humanitarian basis, for war, things of that nature. As you know, what happened in earthquake in Haiti in 2010, the Obama administration as well was given temporary protected status to all Haitians who are here in the United States. About 60,000 who were here illegally. Regardless how long you were here, as long as you were here within a certain period of time, you could automatically apply for the TPS. And again, those are temporary measure that the president has the ultimate right to execute without the approval of Congress. So again, I hope that answers your question. But again, they are temporary until Congress can get the act together and pass legislation that will ultimately turn those DACA and TPS to green card and possibly citizen. These people would eventually apply for the citizenship. All right, just have another question. They just extended TPS for 9 months. Correct. Yes. Again, the TPS. Those of you who are interested when it comes to TPS, we're gonna have more news coming out again unless it is confirmed because we have our source. And TPS is, again, it's temporary protected status. We want to see some kind of changes when it comes to TPS. We don't just want that every 18 months, every 6 months, but we want something and that will be more productive. And then that is something else on my next one. I was going to cover that, of course, with TPS. I'm sure some of my Haitian listeners who are excited about the extension of the TPS for 9 months. I want more. I want more because we had the TPS since February of 2010. We're 10 years later. I think they can do better. Wouldn't you agree? For 10 years, you're giving me something temporary, and then it costs money. You know, it's the headache, it's the uncertainty. And I have a lot of clients who, in my practice, who contacted me. Well, they want, Robert, what's going to happen? I mean, it's already December. We have not heard anything. Well, here we are. And then the uncertainty. I mean, you want to make sure that your ID is renewed. You want to make sure that you're not having any stoppage at your workplace. I understand the frustration. I understand, but then again, it's something. But we hope that the new administration who will be sworn in on January 20th would eventually put a comprehensive package, whereas it will be both beneficial for the United States and also the great immigrants who are major contributors to this great economy of ours. All right, stay tuned. There will be more to come. All right, thank you so much. On another news, we're going to jump topic here, as we know that at the homage at the Robert DuVernay show, I should point this out. The news is there's so much to cover, and then we don't know if we have enough time this evening to cover this thing. But what I can tell you is that there is major news today. President-elect Joseph Biden has appointed the first retired General Lloyd Austin. He's an African American. He will be serving the Defense Secretary capacity. Again, this is a major move, and then we excited. I don't know much about him yet. I'm going to dig into his past and do some research and come back with some more news for you when it comes to this retired general. Again, his name is retired General Lloyd Austin. Okay, President-elect Biden has appointed him to serve as Secretary of Defense. So we're going to have the first African American to serve in that capacity. I think it's major news. It's breaking news. We already have African American at the AG, Attorney General. We already have it at the Homeland Security, and also as President. But we have African American who's been appointed by President-elect Biden to serve in that capacity. It's a tough one. Being in charge of Pentagon is no joke. You oversee all the U.S. servicemen, all the departments, so everything falls under that umbrella, defense. Okay, so let's keep these officials in our prayers, and keep an eye out, and then hopefully things turn out the way we want. When America does well, we all do well. Isn't that right? Thank you. Well, good news, good news. I'd like to share with you some good news. Some good news. Everybody ready for some good news? All right. The good news I have for you, those of you who've been going through school, or may have achieved a bachelor, or a master's, or your PhD, or doctorate degree, guess what? The senator from New York by the name of Schumer. You guys know Schumer, right? All right. Schumer is the minority leader in the Senate. He's pressuring President-elect Biden to forgive, you hear the word out now, to forgive $50,000 in student debt. Woo! Good news. Well, this is a progressive approach. Those of you who may be on the progressive agenda, I think that's something it's getting traction right now. I think it's a win-win. Think about it. You're gonna tell young people, guys like me who have the student loans, you're gonna forgive $50,000 of my student loan. Kudos to you. So that's something to stay tuned and keep those politicians truth to their words. I mean, I think that's some great news. Wow. Okay, that's right. So probably have that $200,000 in in student loan, but yeah, of course, it's great news. Hey, you do have 150,000 left. I think it's great news. That's exactly what I said. Yes. So I think it's good news, and then we need to keep the pressure on. And I believe that there's a chance that Congress will eventually forgive those 50,000. We're not asking to wipe out all 150,000 or 200,000 student loans that we may have, but 50%, that tells me that, hey, you're willing to work with me. Well, I think it's a good start. It's a good start, and I'm excited. It's great news, and I say, I saved the best for last. Anytime you could save that $50,000 money, that $50,000 could be very well served into some kind of saving in business, and I think that's what will somewhat put a spark into the economy. Think about it. You tell young people, hey, I'm forgiving $50,000 of your student loan. Instead of making that payment, think about it. If you're smart enough, that $50,000 that you're going to be paying, so invest it in a business. Invest it, do some investment, and then the return will benefit the community as a whole. I'm sure this is exactly what you would do with that $50,000. Is that correct, my people? Thank you. All right. Well, all right. My man here, Mr. Marcellus. Exciting news. Yeah, he probably got some student loan himself too. That's very good. We all have student loans. I mean, if I think we need to push those agenda. Again, I'm sure I would get a lot of likes and then thumbs up for this news. That's why I save it for last. I'm sure I started with the bad news here first with the stimulus. Getting the $1,200, and then I'm finishing it with the $50,000. Isn't that? Isn't what a guy, huh? I try to keep things balanced, balance things out. So we lost $1,200 on one end, and we might get $50,000 in saving when it comes to student loan, right? Good news. All right. Wow. Well, Dr. Azor said, my type of government doing something for middle class. Yes, indeed. 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 I believe that every time you put an infusion into the economy, the result is unsurmountable. You can't account it. Think about it for a second. I think we need to keep these people, we need to keep their feet to the fire, keep reminding them that to push that. I think it's a great agenda. And President-elect Biden has really thought about it during the campaign. He talked about it on numerous occasions, and there's a chance that this will eventually pass. So again, let's keep our politician truthful to the words, and then keep it interesting. I'm sure there's much more in store. All right. Any other questions? If there's no more questions, I'm going to about to wrap it up here. Again, just give you a little recap of the show, what we had tonight. We had the stimulus is in the works. Unfortunately, you would not get your $1,200 check. You would not get the $1,200 individual check. You had it the last time. And now strictly the $908 billion they have they're discussing right now, which has strong support from both parties. It's at $908 billion, which will go toward the states and also businesses. Now, if you own a business, that's an opportunity for you to tap into that stimulus to either buy equipment, employ a couple employees to further your business. So, and that's good news. That's good news. Again, we talk about DACA. DACA has been reinstated by the Court of New York. As of today, those DACA recipients could go ahead and apply for their status. Okay. Also, like I said, next Monday, December 14th, it's a big date. Again, remember to keep an eye on December 14th, which is next Monday. By the time I meet with you here next Monday, it will be after. I'm going to relay the news to you, which state has certified, which state has hold back. But again, it's over. This next, you could assume that December 14th, everything is over, right? Yeah. Okay. Once all the states certify their elections, it's all over. And then whoever's talking, they're just running their mouth, but nothing. Talk is cheap. It does not amount to anything. All right. Next, we talk about the major appointment that this morning. President-elect Biden has appointed retired General Lloyd Austin, who is an African American, to serve as the Secretary of Defense, which is the first time we'll have an African American in that capacity. It's a big task to be the head of Pentagon. Defense, it's no joke. So we'll keep them in our prayer. Again, the news that sealed the deal tonight was that $50,000, Mr. Schumer from the great state of New York, who is the minority leader for the Senate for the Democratic Party, has pressured President-elect Biden to forgive $50,000 of your student debt, your $50,000. So I have some debts as well too, so we can make good use of it. So it's a progressive agenda, it's a progressive movement. I think it's gaining traction. So pretty soon we're going to start seeing legislation working toward this accomplishment. Again, I'd like to say good evening to some of my loyal subscribers here. I'd like to say Mrs. Lovely, she's live. She's thank you for logging in. Dr. Azor, as usual, we look forward to seeing you this evening, as usual. Of course, my brother Eve Marcellus here from the great state of Florida. And who else? We have Celia here. Good evening to you. It's the first Monday of this beautiful month. Again, it will be, okay, well, another side note that I should point out to you guys on my viewers, it will be cold tomorrow. It will be cold tomorrow. It's going to be in the 50s. Make sure you take a sweater with you. As you know, last night we had a little shower, and then this was the prelude to the cold front that we're expecting here in the great state of Florida. All right. Well, look who's here, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. No One Else, Mr. Ambrose. I was wondering if you were going to be logging in this evening because normally he's the first one to log in. He and Dr. Azor normally race to the login, but then again, Mr. Ambrose came up short this evening. Dr. Azor beat him up big time. But it's good to have you on, brother. Okay, Mrs. Bernadette Remy, thank you for logging in. We thank you for always turning into the Robert DeVerney Show. Again, as you know, if it's Monday night, it's the Robert DeVerney Show. If it's 8 o'clock, that's for sure. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank you. It's past 8:30. We're gonna go ahead and close the show here. Okay, Mr. Ambrose said he was doing lesson plan. Very good. He's an educator. We thank you for contributing to this great work that you do. Anybody who's gone into teaching, to me, it's a vocation. Those who dare to teach shall never cease to learn. And there's a man who's always have a book, always reading something. We applaud you, and America is a better place because of people like you who are in education, like the Dr. Azor, Mr. Marcellus, of course, a psychologist here. And we thank you, those of you who contribute. You know, I think it's a time that just, you know what, you guys got me fired up this evening. And not because we're getting a $50,000 debt erased from our student loan, but again, as I'm talking about this right now, what comes to me is the fact this country is great because of people like you. People who've chosen a profession that they're only given the best of themselves. Think about it. You're making an impact on young people. And then after we've long gone, our impact still remain. I remember teachers I had in grade school. I mean, second grade, fifth grade, who influenced me in such a way, and then I still quote them today. And then I applaud you, those of you who are into education. Kudos to you. The Robert DeVerney Show salutes you for your dedication, your hard work. I think I'm the man today because of teachers like you who instill in me values and the appreciation for learning, to have a curiosity, and knowing that nothing is impossible for those who's willing to travel through the books. Wow, amazing. Well, good evening, Miss Bernard Brazil. Thank you for logging in. Again, the show has come to a halt. Again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you once more. It was a pleasure to have you this evening. We look forward to seeing you one more time for the next 3 Mondays remaining. I think we have the 14th, and we have the 21st and the 28th of this month. And then it's December. I'm sure most of you will be celebrating. Just be careful as you celebrate, as you gather around the holiday. You know, there's this enemy that common enemy that we have in COVID-19. So be aware of what's going on, and then stay abreast, and wash your hands, and then avoid large crowd, and then we want you to come back here. We couldn't afford not to have you here every Monday. So do your very best, and then until next time, have a lovely evening. Again, if it's Monday, if it's 8 p.m., it's the Robert DeVerney Show. Until next time, good evening.